Hello, my name is Anne, and in this video I would like to address the question, what is the likelihood of China using force against Taiwan? Now, let's rephrase the question a little bit. Will China wage a war against Taiwan in the near future? My argument is that China is not going to, at least not in the near future, for reasons of legitimacy, economy, diplomacy, and generational awareness. But first, let's examine why China might wage a war against Taiwan. The Communist Party might strike Taipei if necessary to fulfill the promise it has made to the Chinese people that it will take back the territories that used to belong to the mainland. It must do this to regain the trust of its people. And the trust of its people is important for the survival and longevity of the Communist Party. Besides, Taiwan is doing well economically. If incorporated into China, it will become the richest province that contributes much to China's prosperity. But there are other reasons why China will not use force, which I believe is the case. First, no legitimacy. The Communist Party will not wage a war because it has not found a good reason to justify that war. Frankly, the Communist Party needs Taiwan to trigger a war first, which is unlikely. Taiwan has only responded with verbal claims of independence. Now, if China strikes Taiwan just because of Taiwan's verbal claims, then it would be bad image for China in the international community. The second reason is economic cost. A war with Taiwan is bad for business. Being one of the biggest foreign investors in China, Taiwanese businesses can withdraw their investment should China strike Taiwan, and therefore creating unemployment in China to some extent. Next, the United States backing Taiwan can punish China by restricting Chinese seaborne trade in the waters of Guam and Okinawa. Foreign countries might also impose economic sanctions on China. This argument is not very strong because those countries' economy also depend on China, and China as a veto power of the United Nations Security Council can block resolutions that punish it economically. But overall, the likelihood of war is low in terms of economy for China. The next reason is diplomacy. A war with Taiwan would lead neighboring countries to perceive China as aggressive. And this has two consequences. First, the long-lasting efforts of Chinese diplomats in protecting an image of a non-bullying China will go wasted. They have been spending much time promoting Beijing's grand strategy of peaceful development, and they will not let any aggressive act ruin their efforts. Two is that neighboring countries will get anxious and start defending themselves, either by allowing the United States to be present more in the region or forming anti-China coalitions. These are the outcomes Chinese policymakers would like to avoid. The last reason is later generations of China might no longer care. Although Chinese nationalism has been strong, young Chinese generations have been gradually less enthusiastic about unifying Taiwan. A minority of young mainland students started to oppose unification. They might have less direct experience with history, therefore they are not likely to feel the anger over territorial loss compared to their parents or previous generations. Also, they might find that China can still do well economically without Taiwan. And as it's true that China's economy has been growing without Taiwan. So in the long future, what China might have is a generation of leaders who are no longer concerned about Taiwan. In summary, the high likelihood of China using force against Taiwan only makes sense in terms of nationalism. It does not make sense, however, in terms of international legitimacy, diplomacy, economy, and generational awareness. Thank you for listening.